Hi, hope you're all are having a wonderful day. And yeah, so today, what I would like to rant about is do our politicians ever face the music? For example, here in South Africa, there's commissions upon commission, inquiry commissions about what our ministers did or how our ministers were involved in corruption, state capture activities. And all of those things that come down to me thinking, how many of these politicians are actually really going to face music for what they did or for what they're doing? Because at the moment, I'm not sure if there's really any politician which has gone to jail or which has been punished for corruption or things like that. For example, I read online that President Cyril Ramaphosa, within 9 months of his presidency, he set up a total of 4 commissions of inquiry, all related to the abuse and capture of state resources. So I know President Cyril Ramaphosa is our latest president. There's been presidents before, and he is, for example, state capture started in the era of President Zuma, and even then, well-known ministers were involved. There were allegations of ministers and so on. But then at the end of the day, you read all about these cases or news in newspapers. They make headlines and so on. But at the end of the day, nobody really, I feel like nobody really get to be accounted. For example, now I have been spending some time watching the Zondo Commission, which is the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, and it's headed by Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. So I've been watching that as well, and from what I'm hearing, most of the people which are there, I know they're not in court, they're not being cross-examined. It's just maybe some clarifications or trying to get to understand how this whole state capture took place. But then one thing which really annoys me and pisses me off is the fact that we're not, as taxpayers, we're not getting anything concrete from these commissions, or the people which go and appear and try to answer some questions. The only answers which we seem to be getting from them is, I don't know, I don't remember. And we're talking about millions and millions of rands which were misused or which just vanished or which were used as allegedly bribes and so on. So at the end of the day, I am confused on why in the first place we have we've got ministers which can't account to anything. They can use and spend our taxpayers' monies anyway, anyhow they want, and then at the end of the day, nobody really gets to face the music. So what rights do we as taxpayers have when it comes to our leaders not doing what they're supposed to do and also ransacking the country down? So, because at the end of the day, it's about building the country. We can't keep on hearing in commissions of inquiry how millions of rands were flowing around, because at the end of the day, what you're getting, there was a lot of racketeering taking place using frontier with big names, or I don't really know who benefited, because when you listen to the to the commission on inquiry, people don't seem to understand there's anything wrong which they do. A person think it's understandable to make a mistake or should not be accounted for millions of rands, whereby it's not even your money, it's taxpayers' monies. And here in South Africa, we know that our economy is bad. I would like to know, and in the beginning, 1994, before 94, when we wanted freedom, we wanted to see black people also having equal rights as other races or as white people. So we knew what we were fighting for. So now, after 1994, what did our leaders stand for? What did they fight for? What makes a leader now? Because the only thing which we're getting from leaders which are in power or which are in charge is they seems to be very good with corruption, which running down their departments. And at the end of the day, when they've been questioned or cross-questioned, or how did this happen, or why did your department behave in such a way, they don't know, that they don't remember. So I, as a taxpayer, I am really, really frustrated. I feel like our leaders don't really know what they're doing. And I also have a problem with cadre deployment, because I think most people are holding positions and they're not even suitable to be on those positions, because they just don't have the criteria to. You can't take a person which has never managed finance and will put them in an institution of finance and expect that person is going to do well. Come, let's be realistic. Cadre or no cadre, let's be realistic. Before we put our political parties first, let's look at putting the country first as South Africa, because now we fall short as South Africans to be proud of South Africa and what we have achieved in the past 20 years, whatever years, because surely I don't think there's much to write home about. So before we protect our political parties, let's all look at how we can build a better South Africa. Here we are now in the pandemic, and a lot of people have lost their income, have lost how they used to make monies before, and it's going to be worse. So how are our leaders going to help in trying to steer our economy back on track, or to steer our economy to greater heights, while we as citizens are watching how our leaders, our ministers are running our country down and spending millions of rands or putting millions of rands in their pockets. So at the end of the day, something needs to give. So I think for us South Africans to start having trust back in our leaders, we need to see politicians facing the music. Whoever, yes, I know at the present moment there seems to be something going on whereby you either step down, and please, this of you getting you going on a leave, you going for leave, and it's a full paid leave. It's not a punishment. You can't do something wrong and go home and sit at home and get paid while investigation is still going. Something needs to give. We as citizens need to start feeling like the government is listening to us, and the government is prioritizing us as citizens, because we all know what happens when it comes to voting time. Our leaders will be kissing babies, they'll be sleeping in shacks, you name them, just to get those votes from us. And we're also going to be so naive to believe that 2 months, 1 month act that they are kind human beings, and we go and vote for them again, and then we're going to be crying for the next 4 years that they're not doing what they promised us to do. So for today, my ranting is all about our politicians not being accountable for their deeds or their sins, and us as citizens not knowing where we stand or how we can have our power back to govern our country with more respect. And yes, I remember before this whole corruption and our ministers was a big thing, there was the slogan before that comrades used to say among each other that I did not go to exile to be poor, or I did not go to exile to struggle. That's when we realized something was wrong, that our politicians, our ministers started to driving fancy cars and so on. But then when you try to talk and say, but where are we going now? It seems like you're jealous. I hope our president, the way he has explained that he's trying to do everything in his power for a new dawn, that he will clean house, and our